Hi everyone, it's Miros and this is epic battle between Xiaomi 15 Ultra, Oppo Find X8 Ultra and in the middle is Vivo X200 Ultra. Which one is the best camera phone for taking photos, taking videos and everything you can imagine will be tested today. So stay tuned and at the end leave your comment down below in the comment section. Let's start. Alright everyone, let's move on. And I'm here in the woods again, you know my style, and we are trying to record 4K 60 FPS video on the three devices. Here I'm just holding the three devices on a tripod, so we will test them. It's in my hand, and when I start running, of course it will start shaking the devices, so we can test better the stabilization. And also I'm going from the sun to shadow just to test the stabilization of the just to test the HDR of the three devices, because this is very important. Now I'm going at the sun area. Here is the shady area. Again I'm rotating slowly, and of course now I will start running. Now I'm running, and which of them is the most stable, because 4K 60 FPS is not easy. Now I'm stop running. Let's rotate the cameras, just pointing my face. That's a harsh scenario because sun is here directly pointing my face, and probably we will have some reflections. Skin tone will be different, and this is very important. Again I will start running in front of the cameras. We can compare them better like this, which of them has the best stabilization. And also I will switch the audio source between the three devices, so in that way we will find the best microphones on these three devices, which of them has the best audio. We will compare at the end. Let's rotate now. Okay, you can see, take a look at those clouds. This is important. Clouds are important. Do you have any clouds at all, or it's just a messy thing? And by the way guys, I switch photo mode of the three devices because they can set up the focal length to be 35mm on the Oppo and on Xiaomi too, but sadly for the video they can't do this, and Vivo is recording by default with 35mm, and this is a little bit of zoom. It's 1.5 in the way we are used to with smartphone cameras, and that's why I'm closer when I'm recording videos. But when I'm taking shots, photos, it will be 35 for the three devices. By the way, I will now start switching the lenses, and keep in mind Vivo has only three lenses. It has an ultra wide LYT818 sensor, and same sensor for the main wide camera, and the next one is HP9X. But the other devices, Oppo and Xiaomi, they have four cameras, and even Oppo theoretically it has a 5 because it has a sensor for color correction. It's a small camera. But anyway, now let's start switching. I will go ultra wide, which is 0.6 on Xiaomi. It is again 40mm on Vivo, and it is 0.6 on the Oppo. By the way, Oppo is dimming the screen all the time, and when you are recording videos, and this is not very good because you cannot see almost anything on the viewfinder. Now I will go 1x on the Xiaomi 35, which is 1x by default. On Vivo it's technically 1.5x, but this is 1x on the Oppo. Now I will try to go 1.5 on the Oppo. Now it's 1.5, and I will do the same here on Xiaomi. So we can make now all of the three are 1.5 and we can compare them better in that way. Now let's go for 3x on Xiaomi. Now it's 3x and this is the next camera sensor on Xiaomi. Now I will zoom further with the Vivo, and here on the Oppo again I am 3x. The next one for Xiaomi is 4.3x. Yes, 4.3, which is 100mm, and here on the Vivo now we are going 85, which is starting the HP9 sensor, and the next one on the Oppo, which is using the next sensor, is 6x, which is all of the three devices are taking a different approach. Now let's go 10x. Alright, we are now 10x. It's hard a little bit because here on the Vivo everything is in millimeters. And I'm sorry, I'm now 10x on the Oppo 2. Now we are 10x on the three devices. From what I can see on the viewfinder, the most shakier is Vivo, but it's very sunny and I'm not sure. Now I'm going the maximum, which is 30x on the Oppo. Alright, and here on the Xiaomi it is again 30x. You can see on the Vivo, until we are recording 4K 60 FPS, it's not 30x. Probably this is like a 20x, and I'm pretty sure it's not 30, and you can see it too. It's very shaky, but anyway, let's go to 1x on the three devices, or the default main camera. Now we are using the main camera, and keep in mind we were switching all these until we are recording 4K 60 FPS, and all of the three devices can record 4K with 120 FPS. Xiaomi and Vivo has the option to record for 8K video with 30 FPS, but Oppo can't record 8K video at all. That's it. And now I will switch to the front camera so we can compare better all the... Alright guys, now we are recording 4K 60 FPS, but this time we are using the front camera of the three devices, and which one is doing finally Chinese brands are start making some adjustments at the front camera, so now we can record 4K 60 FPS with the front camera. They realize that's important, and we are going now to the shadow, and of course now I will start running just to test again the stabilization, which is missing from the front camera, but it is electronic stabilization, so I hope they are doing a good job. Let's rotate the camera and take a look at the sky. That's important. When I'm going from the shadow like now to the sun like now, and take a look at the clouds, guys, this is important. But again, 4K 60 FPS recording with the front camera of the three devices. Guys, until I was shooting these videos, I realized when I look at the back of the Vivo that the camera of the Vivo, the main sensor, is sweating a lot, and maybe it has some blurriness. Yes, I know this device is completely new, taken from the box and just one update, but I think that's not normal to for a new device from the box to sweating the camera. This is very lame. Alright, this is a portrait video which is 4K 30 FPS for the Vivo. It should have a nice bokeh effect around me, nice blur effect, and this is a movie mode for Xiaomi. I think it's again 4K 30, but I need to check that because I forget, maybe it's Full HD. And this is again movie mode for the Oppo. Okay, it's time for the night video test. 4K 60 FPS again. We are comparing, of course, Vivo X200 Ultra, Xiaomi 15 Ultra and Oppo Find X8 Ultra. All the Ultras are here. Let me rotate the cameras. Here I am. Now I'm using the main sensor of the Xiaomi and Oppo, but I am now 1x on X200 Ultra because in that way they are comparable. But I think the quality of this ultra wide, it is the same sensor, but I think the quality it's not the same. It's a little bit worse. That's why I will now put to 1.5x. Let me just do this, and this is 1.5x, and this is exactly using the main sensor of Vivo X200 Ultra. I will start running just to test the stabilization. Remember, this is an 4K 60 FPS video, which is hard to handle, but this is Snapdragon 8 Elite for the three devices, so I think there should not be any problem of doing this. Let me rotate this, and of course I'm switching the audio sources. Now let's point there and start switching. I'm now 0.6, 0.6 and 0.6 on the 3. Now I will go 1x, 1.5x, which is 35 millimeters, and here again 1x. Now let's go for 3x on the Oppo, 3x on Xiaomi, which is using their next telephoto sensor, and 3.7x, which is using the HP9 sensor of the Vivo. Alright, again. Now I will go 4.3, which is again the HP9 for Xiaomi, and 6x, which is the next telephoto, second telephoto lens for the Oppo. And I will now go further, like 10x on Xiaomi, 10x on Vivo, and I will go 10x here on the Oppo. Alright, we are now 10x on the three devices, but because they are so huge sensors, it's hard to point them on exactly the same direction, but I'm doing this right now. And let's go for the 20x on the Vivo. Yes, on the Oppo, sorry, it is 20x, 20x on Vivo, and I will go 20x on Xiaomi. Alright, they are 20x, the three devices, but guys, keep in mind this is the maximum Vivo can go. It cannot go more than 20x, but Oppo can to 30 and Xiaomi can to 32. So 30 on Oppo, 30 on Xiaomi, and 20 on Vivo. You can see they are very shaky, and I will go 1x, 1.5 and 1x. This is it, a night video recording, 4K 60 FPS. Alright, 4K 60 FPS again, but this time using the front camera, and Oppo has that feature which is lighting up the whole screen, because it will help of the camera, but here we have a good light conditions, and I'm just walking now, and I'm on the stairs, but we'll start running here on the stairs just to test the stabilization. And enough running, I will go for a darker place now. You can see my face. Which of these three devices can record the best 4K 60 FPS video using the front cam? Alright, it's time for some pictures comparison, and they are a lot. This will be in-depth comparison, believe me. So you can see on the left side is Xiaomi 15 Ultra, in the middle is Vivo X200 Ultra, and on the right side is Oppo Find X8 Ultra. And of course we are starting rolling pictures from ultra wide to 1x or 1.5x and to telephoto and max zoom. This will be the first comparison here. Here on that info you can see that we have a model name, here it is, and the date the picture is taken, and here from the watermark you can understand the focal length, and 14mm is the ultra wide camera for Xiaomi 15 Ultra and for Vivo, and it is 15mm for the Oppo Find X8 Ultra. So let's start. The three pictures are looking almost identical, very good, and keep in mind Vivo X200 Ultra, every picture taken with it is using Zeiss natural mode, and Xiaomi 15 Ultra is using Leica vibrant mode, because I think these modes are closer to reality. In theory, Xiaomi 15 Ultra should be more close to reality with Leica authentic, but it is not. This is just me, but I think it is better using Leica vibrant. Anyway, we are clearing that. Now let's start with the pictures itself, and first let's go here on that sign, because this will be the point. You can see the textures. To me, in the middle, Vivo is the most graininess. The Xiaomi 15 Ultra is the most fake picture, because I think this is AI. It's trying to smoothen everything, and probably Oppo is the best one. Again, we can see some AI compression here, but I think it is, but they are taking different approach. All of the three are taking different approach, but let's zoom on a different place. Here in that hole, for example, here the most clear picture is coming from Vivo to me, and probably the colors are the most close to reality. But let's go again on the grass, and here we have some flowers, which on the Vivo it is complete grain. The ultra wide camera of the Vivo should be the best one, because it is using this LIT 818 sensor, which is same as the main sensor, but in reality we can see so much grain, and probably Vivo take a different approach, and not everything is AI smoothen like the other are doing, or at least Xiaomi is trying to do. But this smoothness is something I don't like, but this grain is not something I like too. Let's go here to test some shadow highlights, for example here on the trees. To be honest, from this first ultra wide picture, I think I like the most Oppo. Now we are talking. You can see we are 35mm for the three cameras, and that's why, because Vivo is taking all the pictures with their 35mm profile. That's why I set by default Xiaomi and Oppo to shoot in 35mm when you press the first option after ultra wide, and this is 1.x, and this is a crop from Xiaomi and Oppo, and this is by default
for the Vivo, and I think it's a not big deal. It's a crop, but you can see from now, maybe because I'm selecting Leica Vibrant here, but Leica Authentic, the colors are most off in Xiaomi. That's why here we have some yellow in the grass, and here the two pictures from Vivo and Oppo are more colder. But let's zoom to check the quality here, and you can see when we are zooming, the Vivo is start that grainy grain mess. You can see if I zoom a little closer, everything is a grain mess. I'm not sure why the textures are going very bad here behind the tree. If I zoom a little, you can see this big grain dots here on the Vivo. I'm not sure what kind of processing is this, but keep in mind no one is zooming so much in their pictures, just we are trying to nitpick everything. Let's check that part of the image here, and I'm still not sure, but the most clear image to me is coming from Xiaomi. Probably that's an AI over sharpening and smoothen the image, but I think this part is the clearest on Xiaomi, even though that we knew from my review of Xiaomi 15 Ultra it has its own problems with the autofocus. It struggled to autofocus the different areas, but let's go for that sign. Only Xiaomi and a little bit of Oppo, you can understand that the letters are red, a little bit red. Here Vivo again grain mess, I'm not sure. And this Vivo, keep in mind, is using the only update I received after I unboxed it. From today people are saying that there is another update, but I did not receive it yet. Okay guys, now we are on the next sensor, which is 3x for Xiaomi and for the Oppo, and it is 70mm. For the Vivo we are already, I think it was 3.7x, which here kicks in the big HP9X sensor, and this should be the best image coming from Vivo, but let's check it. So Xiaomi and Oppo are using now their 3x sensor, which is 50 megapixel for Xiaomi. Let's zoom in here again on that sign, and yes, I can even read. It's in Bulgarian language, but I think the most clear image now is coming from Vivo. Here it's trying to smoothen everything again, Xiaomi, and the focus is going somewhere again. Here on Oppo, at least we can understand that the letters are red. It's not very clear, but yes, here also we can understand we have red letters. But here on the Vivo, I think it is the most clear image, and this is expected because this is a lot bigger sensor than the other two. Let's go and check the other areas, like here, so we can understand, do we have some hues here or anything. For this part, yes, like you can understand what's the problem with Xiaomi. I think it's losing focus all the time. It's losing focus, never mind which sensor you are trying to use. And you can see here the most detailed picture is coming from Vivo, and second place is for Oppo, and on the third place is Xiaomi. We have 100mm for Xiaomi, Vivo, and it is 135 for the Oppo, because this is the next sensor for Oppo. It is 6x, and here Xiaomi is taking the shot with 4.3x, and here the HP9 sensor kicks in. And this is, I just zoom a little bit on the Vivo so they can be on the same. 4.3x. And now keep in mind, because these devices are on a tripod and the pictures cannot be identical, because sensor on the Xiaomi is, for example, on a different place positioned, not like the Vivo. For example, the one is on the left side, the one is on the upper part, the next one is on the bottom part, but this is not so important. Let's go again to that sign and see what we have. And again, you can see Xiaomi is struggling a little bit to maintain the focus. Here, definitely the best image in terms of zoom is coming from Oppo, because its sensor is 6x and even it's smaller, but you can see here, we can understand what is written on the sign. Again, it is in Bulgarian language, but it's written keep clean. And here again, we can understand a little bit on the Vivo, and again it is trying to smoothen everything on Xiaomi. I am still not sure why it's trying to do this, but I think this is because of the focus issues. Let's do like this, so they can be on identical position. And Xiaomi is always trying to separate the front part, the front object. Even I'm not tapping anywhere, this is just autofocus, but you can see how it is trying to separate the tree from the background, which is not something bad. That's why we have some smoothness here, and we cannot understand anything because the tree is on focus. Everything on the back is blur. Okay, now you can see all of the images are around 10x or around 230 millimeters. So this is 10x for all of the three phones. Let's go again to the sign, which is the obvious part of the picture, which should be on focus, and this time Xiaomi is doing a better job. Here the Oppo is trying to smoothen everything, but definitely the cleaner image is from Oppo. Definitely, even it has the smaller zoom sensor. That's something interesting. Here these two guys with this huge 200 megapixel sensor, I'm not sure they are doing a better job than the Oppo with this smaller sensor. So maybe this decision this year from Oppo is a better one, but no one knows. Again, Xiaomi is separating the object, which is the right decision, I think. And you can see the texture on Xiaomi on that tree. I think it's the best one. Here you can see these green parts, everything, and this is the real image. This is the reality. Here it is, I'm not sure what really is happened, but definitely the image is not cleaner. It is just not cleaner. Here we have some reddish accent. Even this part is more cleaner. When we zoom in, we can see these green parts of the tree on Xiaomi, and I think this image is the best one coming from Xiaomi. Here we have so much reddish part, which in reality is not the case. And here we have on the Vivo, to be honest, I'm not surprised in a pleasant way from the Vivo. I was expecting more from this device, which everyone is considering as a camera king, but this image here on Xiaomi is definitely the best one. Alright guys, this image should be around 30x, not around, it's exactly 30x. And you can see here what is Xiaomi doing. Just demolish the other two, demolish. What is this on Vivo? I'm not sure. The Oppo here is not doing the picture of the Oppo, I like it. It's almost as the picture of Xiaomi, but the most detailed picture definitely coming from Xiaomi. And this is 30x. This picture on Vivo is, I'm not sure, this is a shame. What kind of picture is this? This image is at the maximum zoom of the three devices, which is 120x for Xiaomi I think I'm not sure because devices are not in front of me. I think it was 100 for Vivo and 115 for Oppo, but this is not so important. This is maximum zoom for the three devices. Take a look at the image of the Vivo again. Probably this is not the best picture, but it is very good because we have enough light. It is outdoor conditions, sunny environment, very good conditions for taking zoom shots, and I think this one should be better from Vivo, but obviously it is not. Here you can understand on Xiaomi the texture of the sign, the wooden texture of the sign, this bolt here, the letters, and here Oppo is smoothen things a little bit, but still understandable. On Vivo it is way worse. Again, in terms of maximum zoom, Xiaomi on first place, second place for Oppo, and third place again for Vivo with the worst image. Okay guys, this is a macro image. A macro image which was very hard. Why? Because it is very hard to focus on that part of the image or even that part, because you can see Vivo when you tap on the super macro mode, it is 85 millimeters, and you need to go a lot further from the part you want to focus. Here it is 35 millimeters and here it is 35 again. So if we zoom, we can see here the Vivo has the most cleaner image with the most details, but it is trying to separate from the background too much. I think it's too much, and this is by default the super macro mode, nothing special. Let's go here and check what is really happened. The focus on the Vivo is definitely not here, that's why it's not looking very good. I can consider probably the images of the Xiaomi and Oppo as almost identical, and this one here, let's go for that part because Vivo is focusing here better, I think. And where is the focus? Definitely the zoom, the macro image from Vivo is better for sure. You can see what's happened here, the details, everything is better. This is a portrait image, 70 millimeters. This means Oppo and Xiaomi are using their 3x sensor, and Vivo on that picture is using its main sensor for this portrait image. Sadly, I don't have enough hair just to compare the, but you can see Oppo is doing a very good job here, a very good job around my ear. Let's go for the, I'm not sure Vivo is doing the same job, but keep in mind Vivo is not zoomed so much. Let's check the details here on Xiaomi, and yes, you can see the most detailed picture is coming from Oppo. Definitely you can see all the small hairs here. The Xiaomi is trying to smoothen everything, and we have some hue here with a different color. I am not sure why, but let's zoom even. You can see that purplish hue here, which is strange. And yes, you can see these small hairs. To me, the best image is coming from Oppo. This is again portrait image, which this time is taken with the HP9 sensor or 4.3x of Xiaomi. It is again with the zoom sensor HP9 for Vivo, and it is with 6x sensor, zoom sensor for Oppo. So here let's check again the details, and you can see now the separation of the background is even better, but this is something you can control, so this is not a big advantage. But let's zoom, for example, again here on that area, so we can check all the small hairs, which are not a lot, but definitely we have some AI processing on Xiaomi, and it's a lot. Let's check the skin. You can see I have a small hairs here on my skin, and Xiaomi have a lot of AI processing going on here. Definitely Oppo is trying to smoothen my face. Here we have another part which is Xiaomi is trying to AI reproduce it, and probably the most close to reality picture is coming from Vivo, but let's go that bear here. It's not very good on the Vivo, and I think the AI processing here is too much on Xiaomi. I think the best one is probably coming from Oppo, but let's check these hairs on my neck. This part of the image. Yes, Xiaomi is trying to smoothen everything with its AI processing. So this is a portrait using the front camera. Alright, let's now go and check the details. Of course, the pictures are taken one by one, and you can see here on the Oppo it's not doing very good job around my ear, but Vivo and Xiaomi are definitely better here. Yes, in terms of details here the Vivo wins for sure. Vivo wins, and this mistake for the Oppo is something I don't like. But let's check the skin smoothness. Here on the Vivo we have some AI processing. The Oppo and Xiaomi are not so harsh, definitely, but Vivo is trying to smoothen the things. Alright, that's an interesting picture. Again, 1.5x 35mm. Just I do this already explained just to make them comparable. And here you can see the colors on the Oppo on the table are off. This is we have some sun blinds, sun behind that. Here the light is coming behind the flower. It's an interesting shot. The colors on the Xiaomi are a little bit off again, but if we check the table, I am still not sure which is more close to reality, Vivo or Xiaomi, but probably it is Vivo. The more darker image is coming from Vivo, so Vivo are trying to make the colors as close to reality as they can. But these are just different colors, and everyone prefers different colors. Here let's check the details. For example, here the focus is not here, but where is the focus? Probably it should be here on that area, so I will focus there just to compare the images, and you can see the details. All of the three devices are very good. You can see so much details we have here on that flower, but the grainy picture again is coming from Vivo. Okay, this is again picture using the HP9 sensors for these two devices, Xiaomi and Vivo, and it is using the 6x telephoto sensor for Oppo Find X8 Ultra. This is just a natural separation, a natural bokeh coming from the big sensor, and you can see these two devices has a bigger sensor. You can understand that, but let's zoom on it. Very good image coming from the three devices. Focus is on a different position, but here Vivo is losing focus. Definitely it's losing focus. Here this image, to be honest, I prefer it for Xiaomi 15 Ultra. I prefer the image from Xiaomi, but all of them are very good. Let's check this. You can see what kind of smoothness and hue we have on the Vivo. The one on Xiaomi is very good, and look at the texture of this flower. Look at it. Only Xiaomi maintaining that texture, so this image is a win for Xiaomi for sure. Now we are moving to night, and this is ultra wide camera for the three devices. Again, look at the tiles here. On Vivo, very bad. The details are here. The most details are for Xiaomi. Look what how Vivo is smooth on here, everything. Look at it. And let's zoom a little bit here on that sign. When we zoom in, probably it's a win for Vivo. Not probably, it's a win for Vivo for sure. Yes, a win for Vivo, but no one is zooming so much. Again, very grain picture from Vivo. Details are readable, but the picture is very grain. And if we go for that lights and hue around them, we can understand that we have here two lights on the Vivo, and we almost cannot understand that on Xiaomi and Oppo. But if we go closer, definitely tiles are better, or at least I was thinking like this. When we zoom in, again some AI kicks in here. Probably that's because of the difference in colors. Yes, when I zoom in, a better picture is coming for Vivo for me. Not the picture is not bad for all of the three, but the best one is coming from Vivo because it lacks this AI smoothness. Night shot 35mm for the three devices. This time let's zoom a little bit. This should be the best image from the three. Let's check the grass here, and the sign on the back. Look, Vivo fails here to maintain what's written here. On the Xiaomi is not very good, but this time here Vivo is just demolish them. Look that clean image. This is just brutal. Alright, this is an image taken with the first zoom sensor for the three devices and the only one for Vivo. So we are using now 3.7 I think, or 3.8. It was 85mm for Vivo, where this HP9X sensor kicks in. Here we have 3x sensor for Oppo and 3x for Xiaomi, and what can I say, the best image is coming from Vivo. It has the biggest sensor here, so let's better skip that part. And the last position for that picture is going for Xiaomi. Now here is a different section. Xiaomi 15 Ultra is using the HP9 sensor. I just zoom a little bit with the Vivo. It is around 5x, so it can be in between. Here it has on Oppo, we have again that 6x next sensor. So let's go and check the details. AI here coming from Xiaomi, you can see around the letters. Here we have it's going to lose details, but AI kicks in for Xiaomi. Very AI-ish image, not very close to reality. I prefer again the image from Vivo is the best one here for sure, and I prefer even this one is a little bit more readable. That this part I'm not like it because it's completely AI. Where else we can zoom? Let's go here on that shady area for that sign, and when we zoom so much, the grain is kicks in from Vivo for sure. When you zoom so much, the grain kicks in, but probably this is part of their image processing, because they are not trying to smoothen the things so much and not making the fake AI images like here on Xiaomi and Oppo somehow, but Xiaomi is lacking details here. You can see that part. You can when probably in terms of zoom, the best image zoom at maximum, probably the best image is coming from Oppo, but it's expected. It's a 6x sensor. This should be around 10x for the three devices. And what can I say? Let's all of them are very good. The focus is in on the sign. Let's zoom a little bit here on that part, and again the cleaner image, but yes, it's smoothened a little bit here, but you can understand what's written here. It is not very recognizable, but the cleaner image is coming from this time is coming from again from Vivo. Here we are already start losing details on the Oppo, and Xiaomi again is putting the AI power here. This should be around 30x, and Vivo is still, the image is still clear. The focus this time is here and it's readable. Here Oppo is doing its AI magic, but this is expected for 30x image. This is the maximum zoom, which again is 120x for Xiaomi, and it's a little bit less for the other two. But AI here, you can see it's what is doing on the Vivo. It's putting some extra parts on the image. We have some hue here, we have some grain here, not so smoothen. Probably I am not putting the focus exactly where it should be, but it should be on something light. Okay, this image I just want to compare it because this is using their main zoom sensors on the three devices. So again, this is HP9 here for Vivo, for Xiaomi, and 6x sensor for Oppo. Which is the best image to you? This time Vivo fails here with this lens flare around the lights, and Oppo too. So in different scenarios, you can see on Xiaomi we can understand that we have some part of the image, a black part on that street light, which is completely missing because of that lens flare on the other two. Of course, this is not a sign for the best image, but let's go here for that shady area. All right. Yes, probably the most recognizable image is again from Oppo, but it's expected because it has more zoom here. Okay, this is a selfie image, not a portrait image, because when you rotate the selfie camera on the Vivo, it directly goes to portrait mode, but this is not portrait mode. And let's zoom just to check the details, because this is a night picture, the other one was in daylight. Let's go and check some details here. Probably the most detailed picture is coming from Oppo or Vivo. But to be honest, all of them are very good. Alright, another night scenario, and again this is the ultra wide camera of the three. You can see the hue around the lights on Xiaomi, but it is the same for Oppo, and it is the worst on Vivo with the biggest ultra wide sensor, but with the worst image, where we can zoom here on that rock. And when you are zoomed closer for the ultra wide cameras of the Vivo, it's not so bad, but if you want to go further, you can see the results. This time I take a different approach. This is the first image from the main sensor. It is 35mm from Vivo, it is 23 for Xiaomi, and it is 23 for Oppo, which is our default for so many years. Just Vivo now are trying to explain us that 35 is the default, which is the default for every photographer, but not for mobile photography and smartphones. Now let's go and check some details here. Again, we have more zoom for Vivo, but take a look at the roof of that house. To me, it is the best one is coming from Xiaomi. But if we check closer, for example, these flowers here, yes, we can understand the colors for these two, and here they are losing, and the rock near the colors. Here on Vivo, this time we have some AI processing, which is something interesting, but Xiaomi and Oppo are doing a better job if you zoom further. Again, 6x for Oppo, using its second telephoto sensor. Here we have around 5x, and here it is 4.8 for Xiaomi, using this big sensor. Again, we have some strange hue here. Maybe it's a dirt on the glass. I am not sure what exactly it is, but let's zoom in. We have some part here which is interesting, but if we zoom on the light, let me just compare them exactly on the same. To me, the most clear image and most recognizable image is coming from Xiaomi. It has some artifacts here, but I think this is because we have some dirt on the glass. I am not sure what it was dark, so but you can see just around the light. The most clear image is coming from Xiaomi, even the fact that on the Oppo, the only one which you can understand where exactly is the light bulb is the Oppo, but outside the whole light, the most cleaner image is coming from Xiaomi, and here the Vivo is smoothen everything. It's 10x or around 10x for every device, and here something happened with Vivo. I am not sure why, but it is completely losing its focus, and we cannot even compare it to the other two. But again, the cleaner image is coming from Xiaomi, and if we zoom in a different positions, some AI faking here, but we have details around this chimney, and here of Vivo is even not comparable, which is 30x. And for 30x image, this time I will give the win for the Oppo. You can see the light bulb and the dirtiness inside the light. Definitely the most detailed image is coming here from Oppo. On second position is Xiaomi. Again, you can recognize here the light bulb, and Vivo is just completely missing and it's completely off. This is an image coming from the main sensor of the three devices, just a night shot in the street. We have a lot of lights, we have a lot of here is the river is flowing. This is an interesting image. We have trees, and again Vivo 35mm, 23 for the other two. But let's zoom a little bit. When you zoom in here on the lights, here Oppo is losing details. Here it is the best one coming from Vivo, and even that window you can understand most of things inside it. And here we have some stickers on that street light, which is most visible here on the Vivo. Again, probably this is because of the little bit zoom 35mm, but I cannot be sure. But the best image definitely is coming from Vivo. And this is my conclusion. I cannot select a clear winner. All of them are very, very good. And when Xiaomi is not struggling with the focus, it just kills the other. but the best one for portraits to me is Oppo, and the most consistent is Vivo. But all of the three are very, very good, and I cannot select a clear winner here. But guys, keep in mind these videos took me a lot of work and a lot of days to create them, so consider subscribe and like my videos, and of course have a nice day.